What if you had an AI agent sitting in your meeting, not taking notes, not summarizing, actually participating, pulling up live data, sharing its own screen with charts, reading your screen, and telling you things you didn't even ask about? As far as I know, nobody has done this before. I built it, and I'm going to show you everything. If you don't know me, I'm Professor Glitch. And yeah, this is an AI character, but there's a real person behind it. I use this format because it lets me focus on what actually matters, which is teaching you how to build real stuff. Not theory, not hype. Actual systems you can ship and sell. I teach AI and automations, how to actually build AI systems, AI agents, and ship them. I have a community where we build stuff like this every single week. Full courses on vibe coding, AI agents, automations. The complete code for this project, everything you see in this video, it's all inside. If you're serious about learning this stuff, the link is in the description. I also have a full vibe coding course and Claude Code Mastery if you want to learn how to build apps like this from scratch using Claude Code. All the resources are in there too. So let me set the stage. If you didn't know, Google just dropped Gemini 3.1 Flash Live. This is their newest real-time voice AI model. The model ID is literally Gemini 3.1 Flash Live Preview. And when I say real-time, I mean real-time. You talk, it responds, basically zero lag. You're going to see that in the demo, and the speed is insane. Now, every AI meeting tool out there, Otter, Fireflies, Zoom AI, they're all passive. They sit there, take notes, and send you a summary after the call. Cool, but that's not what this is. What I built is an AI agent that actually participates in the meeting. It listens, it talks back, it queries a live database, it generates charts on the fly. And here's the crazy part. It shares its own screen. Like a real participant. You'll see it pop up with a chart and start walking you through the numbers. And it can also see your screen. If you share your screen, it can read what's on it and talk about it. I'm going to show you that too. As far as I know, I haven't seen anyone do this before. An AI agent that doesn't just answer questions from a knowledge base, but actually executes actions, queries databases, generates visuals, and shares them live in a meeting. This is a first. Now, quick disclaimer. The data you're going to see is dummy data. It's a real database, a real Supabase Postgres instance, but the clients, the revenue, the projects, it's all fake. We set it up to simulate an AI automation agency with clients and projects and automations. Think of it as a demo environment. But everything else, the agent, the tools, the screen sharing, that's all real and working. Let me break down how this actually works because it's simpler than you think. You're in a browser on a video call. This is powered by LiveKit. Think of it as building your own Zoom. The AI agent joins that same call as a participant. It can hear you. It can talk. Its brain is Gemini 3.1 Flash Live, that new Google model I just mentioned. Super fast, real-time voice. Now here's where it gets powerful. Function calling. If you don't know what function calling is, let me break it down real quick. Normally when you talk to an AI, it can only respond with text. It can only use what it knows from its training data. Function calling is when you give the AI a list of tools it can use. Like here's a tool to check the database. Here's a tool to make a chart. Here's a tool to look up a client. So when you ask a question, the AI doesn't just guess. It decides, oh, I need to call this tool to get the real answer. It calls the tool, gets real data back, and then responds to you with the actual numbers. In our case, when you say, what's our revenue? Gemini hears that, decides to call the get revenue tool. That tool hits our Supabase database, gets the real numbers, generates a chart with matplotlib, pushes that chart as a screen share into the meeting, and then Gemini speaks the results out loud, all in about 2 seconds. That's function calling. It's what makes this agent actually useful instead of just a chatbot. But here's what really blew my mind. What if you ask something that doesn't have a preset tool? Like what automations does a specific client have? I didn't build a specific tool for that. The agent figures it out on its own. It knows the entire database schema, all the tables, all the columns, all the relationships. So it writes its own SQL query on the fly. It looks at the results, sees, okay, this is a table with 3 rows, picks the best chart type automatically, generates it, shares it on screen, and narrates it. That's autonomous reasoning, not a script, not a preset. Pure AI thinking. The database has 7 tables. Think of it as everything an automation agency would track. Team members, clients, projects, the automations we built, revenue, client feedback, and our sales pipeline. Again, this is dummy data for the demo, but it's a real database. You could swap this out for your business data in an afternoon. Let me quickly show you the actual database. This is Supabase, our Postgres database. You can see the tables right here. Clients, we've got 12 of them. Different industries, different plans. Some on retainer, some project-based, a couple churned. Projects, 12 active and delivered projects. Automations, 19 of them built across N8N, Make, Zapier, Python, and LangChain. Revenue going back months. This is real data that the agent can query at any time. And here's the agent code. This is the Python file that runs everything. You can see the function tools defined here. Get revenue, get clients, get projects, get pipeline. Each one calls the database, generates a chart, and shares it. And at the bottom, the QueryDB tool, that's the one where the agent writes its own SQL. The whole thing is about 300 lines of Python, and I didn't write it by hand. Enough explaining. Let me show you this thing live. Watch the speed. I'm going to join a meeting. The agent is going to join automatically, and I'm going to ask it real questions about our agency data. Hey agent. Hey agent, give me a quick overview of how the agency is doing.
So looking at the revenue dashboard, our monthly recurring revenue is holding steady at 35K from our 6 retainers. Total revenue all time is just over 229K, which is great, but this month's revenue is down compared to last, mostly due to project timing. We also have about 7,500 in outstanding invoices, so we need to chase those up.
All right, cool. So can you show me how the revenue has grown over the last 12 months?
You got it. This chart shows our growth over the last year, and you can see that retainer revenue providing that steady base, while those big project wins really spike things up, like we saw last month. We've come a long way from the 4,500 we did back in June, hitting over 53K recently. It definitely paints a picture of growth, even with the little dips here and there.
Can you tell me about our clients? I want to see all our clients.
Sure thing. Here's the breakdown. We've got 8 active clients right now, and Atlas Wealth Advisors is our biggest, bringing in 486K total. The really cool thing is that our automations are saving them over 5,400 hours a month across all clients, and they seem to be happy about it, with an average satisfaction rating of 4.6 stars. Not bad, right?
Yeah, can you tell me what the automations are we running for them? The Atlas Wealth Advisors?
Okay, looking at Atlas Wealth Advisors specifically, they're on a 12K monthly retainer, and we've delivered 2 projects for them already, a compliance report generator and some AI training for their team. Right now, we're building them a client portfolio dashboard, and they have 2 active automations saving them about 200 hours a month. Their feedback was great on the training, saying their team is even building their own simple automations now. They're a big compliance-heavy client, so we really need to make sure those automations are bulletproof.
Can you tell me is there any project that we should be worrying about?
So looking at the project board, we have 4 projects in progress, and there are 2 we should keep a close eye on. The order fulfillment automation for Fresh Bite Meals has 3 days left and is about 41% through the budget. And the agent CRM sync for Meridian Real Estate has 17 days left with 47% budget used. We need to make sure those are on track to hit their deadlines without going.
Yeah, can we see the visuals for that?
Here's the project board. You can see all the details on those projects we were just talking about, including their current status, budget usage, deadlines, and who's leading them. It really highlights those 2 with upcoming deadlines we need to focus on.
Which platforms do we build the most automation on?
So looking at the automation dashboard, we've built 19 automations total and 15 are currently active. Our top platform is definitely N8N, and we focus mostly on operations automations. They're running almost 23,000 times per month and saving over 500 hours, which is fantastic. Plus, our average error rate is really low, just 0.62%. Everything seems to be running pretty smoothly.
Alrighty, so can you stop sharing your screen?
No problem. Screen is cleared. Anything else you'd like to go over, or maybe a specific client you want to dive into?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen right now. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Looks like you've got a spreadsheet with all the client data pulled up. Anything specific you're looking at here or want me to point out?
Yeah, it's just, what's the column that I'm currently on?
You're on the MRR column. That's where you're tracking the monthly recurring revenue from each client, like the 12K from Atlas Wealth and the 6,500 from Meridian Real Estate. It's a key metric for our predictable income.
Okay, so I just added something on the screen. Do you see it?
Yep, I see it. You just typed test key WYFE into cell B12. Anything you want to do with that, or were you just testing it out?
So what it is again?
It's just the text you entered into cell B12 of the spreadsheet. It says test key WIFE. Was there something specific you were trying to track with that, or were you just testing out?
Do you see it correctly now?
Yep, I see it clearly. It looks like you've updated the text to say test say hi if you see that. So yes, I can see that message perfectly now. Anything else you want to try typing, or should we look at something else in the spreadsheet?
So what is this client that I highlighted right now?
That's Bolt Logistics. They're on a retainer plan with us, and we're seeing about 5,500 in monthly revenue from them. Our automations are saving them 65 hours a month, and they've given us a perfect 5-star rating, which is fantastic.
Do you know that client, Sky High Media? Can you tell me what, like the account manager?
Sure. Looking at the spreadsheet, the account manager for Sky High Media is Priya. It also shows they're on a retainer plan and have given us a 4.5-star rating, though their churn risk is listed as high, so that might be something to chat with her about.
Alrighty. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let me break down what just happened. Everything you just saw was live. No pre-recorded clips except my AI voice, of course. Real database, real queries, real charts generated on the fly. Now here's what gets me excited. What I showed you is just one example. Connecting the agent to a Supabase database. But function calling means you can connect it to anything. Think about it. Connect it to Google Calendar. The agent can check everyone's availability, schedule follow-ups right there in the meeting, connect it to your email. Say, agent, send a summary of this meeting to the team. Done. Connect it to your CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever. The agent pulls up client history, updates deal stages, assigns tasks. Connect it to Slack. Say, agent, create a task in Slack for Jake to finish the CRM integration by Friday. Done. If you have multiple participants on the call, the agent can send tasks to each person. It can assign action items. It can follow up. You can literally make it do anything that has an API. That's the power of function calling. And this whole thing, I built it with Claude Code. Vibe coding, I described what I wanted. Claude built the database, the agent, the tools, the chart engine, the screen sharing. I didn't write this code by hand. Here's what I think is really happening. We're at the point where AI agents aren't just chatbots anymore. They're not just answering questions from a knowledge base. They're executing actions. They're participating in your workflow. Imagine a sales team. They're on a call with a prospect. The AI agent is there quietly. The prospect asks about pricing for a custom plan. Instead of saying, let me get back to you, the sales rep says, hey agent, what would a custom plan look like for a 50-person team? And the agent pulls it up instantly, live, in the meeting, or a project kickoff meeting. The AI agent automatically creates the project in your system, assigns tasks, sets up the Slack channel, sends the welcome email. All from the conversation. This is a concept that's going to explode. There are going to be so many ideas and use cases coming out of this. And the people who understand how to build it are going to be way ahead. Now, what I built so far is a demo, but it's a solid demo. and it's a real foundation. You can take this and build your own platform, host your own AI-powered meetings, have your own agent that you can call on anytime, and it's going to answer you and execute tools. Or you can offer this as a service to clients. Build meeting agents for agencies, for real estate teams, for e-commerce brands. The architecture stays the same. You just swap out the data and the tools. If you're serious about building AI agents, about learning this stuff and actually shipping, check out the Professor Glitch community. We build projects like this every week. You get the complete code, the schemas, step-by-step walkthroughs, and you're around people who are all building and shipping AI. I also have a full vibe coding course where I teach you how to build apps from scratch using Claude Code. Everything you need to go from idea to working product. All the links are in the description. Drop a comment. What would you connect this agent to? What meeting would you put it in? I'm genuinely curious. I read every comment. If you learned something today, hit subscribe. I'm building stuff like this every single week, and it's only going to get crazier. I'm excited about what's coming in AI, and I'll see you in the next one.